Today we'll be covering the Would Have Been Speculation Map version 4 from our friends over at Horror Night Nightmares, and breaking down the few changes and where I stand on the lineup in relation to next year's event. But we'll cover all that up next. Welcome back, everybody. It's Michael from Hallowed Thrills, and take a look at the new look of my channel. With your help, I was able to upgrade some of the lighting that I have for this channel, and it makes the content and quality of it look even better. So if you want to help support the channel and allow me to make better content, that would be really helpful if you went into the description and purchased my new merch that I have down there. All of the proceeds from that will help make the content better for this channel. And also, while you're down there, don't forget to follow both my social medias on Twitter and on Instagram. And also, do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to get notified for all the theme park updates that I have for Universal, HHN, and Disney. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into today's topic. A few days ago, a new speculation map was posted over on Twitter from Horror Night Nightmares. And it was posted as a, here's what would have been, and it was pretty much the lineup for this year's event before everything got postponed. And now, as much as I did not want to look at it, I wanted to see what I missed out on for this year's event before everything got postponed. And the first big thing that I saw that came as a surprise to me was the fact that the shows would not be returning and that they would be replaced with U-Rest zones. U-Rest zones, for the people that do not know, are what they have in the parks for day guests, so that you can go in, take a break, relax, take your mask off, do whatever you want to do to just take a break from being out in the heat. Honestly, it kind of made me upset, but it makes sense that they would not be able to run shows due to the fact that it does tend to draw a crowd, which is something that people and companies want to avoid with the theme parks reopening. Now, just hopefully next year, when the event actually happens, they will end up having shows, which would be great. But with all of that out of the way, now let's head on to the Scare Zone updates. Now, for the Scare Zones that were revealed, we were surprisingly still going to have 5 different zones in the exact same spots that they have normally been in. And which, knowing how congested some of these places can be, it honestly was surprising that we were still going to have these. And I thought that we were probably going to be limited to 3, just in the bigger areas such as Plaza, Hollywood, and New York. But turns out that they were going to have them all. So starting off in Plaza, we were supposed to have a anniversary zone. So my guess would probably be something like a icons, like stage picture photo op type thing, where the icons are up on the stage, they have markers, you're able to take pictures of them, something like that. That we normally have some kind of photo op zone in the Plaza, so it would only make sense that that was what the anniversary zone was supposed to be. Now, moving on to New York. New York was supposed to be a 30 Years, 30 Fears zone. Now, I heard that this was going to be more of a best of originals zone. So it was supposed to have things like the Vamps from Vamp 55, Bone from Festival of the Deadliest, and some of the patients from Psycho Scarapy over in Shady Brook. And other popular zones that have occurred over the past 30 years. Now, I thought that would be an amazing zone, but it would have been hard to see how they would have tied everything in. But now let's move on to what would have been over in Hollywood, and this has not changed from the last speculation map, which was Creepshow. So Creepshow was supposed to be coming, and it was kind of confirmed over in the tribute store when the Creep Pop figure actually showed up in the store. So only makes sense that he was going to be at the event this year. Now moving over to Central Park, Central Park was an unknown original. We have no idea what this was. I have nothing else to really say about it. Now, the last spot in San Francisco was supposed to be Terra Cruentus. Now, this was rumored to be a house originally and then turned into a scare zone. And I just really am excited to hopefully see this next year when the event actually happens. I'm excited to see the Terror Queen. I'm excited to see the Terror Throne, all the fire, blood, gore, all of that. I am super excited to see that, but we'll have to see how it plays out when the event actually takes place in 2021. Now on to talking about the houses. I will only be mentioning the houses that have changed since the last speculation map. So the first change that I saw was bedtime stories and how they added an official full-length title for it. And that new title is Bedtime Stories, The Tooth Fairy. Now, the Tooth Fairy was a name that was going back and forth for this house, and it is now stuck as Bedtime Stories, The Tooth Fairy. And what I can only guess is that the Tooth Fairy would have been more of a demonic, like gory, bloody type of fairy tale creature rather than what everyone knows them as like a little pixie. So now the next change that I saw was the Pumpkin Original. Now the Pumpkin Original now has an official name where it is Twisted Traditions, the Pumpkin Lord. Now, Twisted Traditions was a scare zone, now turned into a house from 28, I believe, and that was in Central Park. That was an amazing scare zone and would have been an amazing house with now a more of a central icon being the Pumpkin Lord, which we saw on the t-shirt that was released in the tribute store. And the final change that I saw on the map was a full name was added to the Billie Eilish house, where it is now named The Demons of Billie Eilish. Now, it's funny how a simple name change can literally spark so much interest among the community, as this change definitely caused a stir, and to be honest, from what I heard, this was the plan all along. She was supposed to have free range over creating her entire house based off her own ideas, and she was just supposed to make the soundtrack with it as well. Now, personally, I really hope this stays the same, because now the name has me even more intrigued than just straight up Billie Eilish, because now we know that it's not supposed to be about her music videos. It's just more supposed to be about her weird, twisted ideas that she has in relation to horror, and I can't wait to hopefully see it next year. So with this speculation map being like 95% correct and accurate, do you guys like this lineup? Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Personally, I thought this was a very strong lineup and would have been a great year, and it really makes me hope that we keep everything on this lineup for next year's event. And honestly, we should probably talk about the possibility of changes though, due to IP contracts being only on a yearly basis. Now, some IP houses may not return next year if Universal and the other respective companies do not come to an agreement for the continuation of having that IP at next year's event. Now, I will say it does allow Universal to rethink some of the IPs that they were supposed to have at the event this year and replace them with something more current that could release. So you could possibly, just throwing out an idea, you could possibly replace Texas Chainsaw with, say, Candyman, or Halloween 2018, or even Halloween Kills when that eventually comes out next year. Or another idea is that they could possibly be replacing Haunting of Hill House next year and replace it with Stranger Things Season 4, which has been rumored to be releasing later this year. Now, I'm not saying that these changes will happen, but it is a possibility that these changes could occur due to licensing issues with current IP contracts ending. But I guess we'll have to see next year when we actually get new speculation maps for next year's event. And as far as originals are concerned, I do not believe that they will be like changing any of those, as they do not have any contracts or stipulations with them, but it will only allow them to spend more time working on them and allow them to add certain effects that they didn't have time to add to begin with. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But with all of that, that wraps up today's video and our breakdown of what would have been the rumored final map for this year's event. And if you enjoyed, please do not forget to like and leave a comment. Tell me which house you cannot wait to do next year. And until then, I'm Michael. This has been Hollow Thrills, and I'll see you guys next time.